For talking to CNBC TV 18, sir. So I want to begin by asking you about the overall IPO market in general. Today we saw the roadshow by a marquee company like CCD. Going ahead, how do you see the IPO market for companies who are willing to go ahead and basically list themselves at the secondary market?
Well, so if you look at the pipeline, I think the pipeline has, a very exciting mix of new companies across all sectors, which is there. So I think, once the markets are stabilizing from the past round of volatility which we saw, I think, new stories will start coming in the next few months into the story. We expect the pipeline to be a decent, and investors should be receptive to those stories because they're all high quality stories, at least what Citi is managing.
So which sectors in specific would you see more traction?
Well, as I said, they're all across all sectors, so nothing in particular, there is no concentration of a particular sector.
And because we have also seen a lot of diversified companies, as you already pointed out, coming in. And do you think, sir, the volatility in the secondary market will have a rub-off? Because we already saw a few earlier IPOs basically witnessing a subdued response. So do you think the volatility in the secondary market will have a rub-off on the primary market?
Yeah, I think the overall market sentiments and the volatility does have an impact. But now it seems like that the markets are stabilizing. And once the markets stabilize, we'll see a continuous flow of IPOs coming into the market.
Okay. Also wanted to know, sir, in terms of you have already spoken about having a rub-off in the secondary market, having a rub-off in the primary market. But do you think the earnings going ahead, we are actually in this month itself, we'll be seeing earnings coming up. So do you think for the secondary market also, how do you see earnings panning out?
Well, I don't want to speculate on the earnings. Earnings is obviously a function of the overall economic growth, and obviously the underlying companies are going to grow accordingly. Let's wait and see. I don't want to speculate the growth, for this quarter.
And sir, the companies which will be hitting the IPOs, do you think more of deleveraging will be there in the balance sheet as such?
I think it will be a mix of all, not only deleveraging of the balance sheet. I think there would be a new growth capital, risk capital being raised through IPOs, as also providing exit to the private equity investors who've been in the companies and who've sort of groomed and nurtured this company and grown them for the last 4 or 5 years. So it will be a mix of all the three things.
Sir, we have seen a slew of companies basically filing the DRHP last month itself. So what was the reason for that trend, sir? Any specific reason for that trend?
No specific reason. I think it's just got bunched up. We ourselves filed few, 3 or 4 IPOs.
Okay.
And I'm sure likewise the other banks in the street have filed a few IPOs. So there's no reason why they got bunched up. It's just that, when market starts looking positive, more people want to go and unlock value or illuminate value or raise new capital.
Yesterday we saw the CMI data coming up, which saw a spike up in the total amount of investments that have been announced. But in terms of the number of projects, there have been a certain kind of a concern. So how do you think, when do you see the investment cycle picking up as such?
Well, I think the government is taking a lot of positive measures, and I would imagine that should see a pick up in the economic cycle. I cannot pinpoint a time when it will pick up, but obviously the entire steps taken by the government, the reforms which the government is introducing, and the acceleration in the infra spend which we are seeing, hopefully all these things will start reflecting in the overall economic recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for talking to CNBC.